Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Idioms 33. All right, the idiom today is bait and switch. Okay, let's look at the definition. There's actually two ways that it can be used. First off, if we say something is a bait and switch, any practice that deceives where the information originally presented turns out to be untrue. Okay, or this is also a selling tactic sometimes by some companies, but it is deceptive. A tricky way of trying to sell where a product is advertised at a very low price. And when the customer comes in to buy it, a salesperson tries to persuade a customer to buy a similar product that is very expensive. If some companies will do this, they'll advertise something very, very low just to get people in the door, and then when they're in the door, they try to work on that. So let's look at the first example. I thought I was going to buy something on sale, but the salesman convinced me the product was of lower quality and talked me into buying a more expensive one. So that's what they'll probably do. Maybe they'll start talking to you. Well, why do you need it? Why do you want it? Oh, no. Well, this one may not be the best for you. I think you should get this one. And of course, then they try to sell you the better one. Or perhaps by the time you got in, they say, oh, no, sorry, we have no more left. But, why don't you look at this one? I'll try to sell you this one. Where maybe sometimes maybe they had none or they only had one or two. And they knew that they were going to get a lot more people coming in with the sale that they had. So this is a very common sort of a tricky way of selling to people. Okay. All right. So anyway, here, this was like an A and B. So A said that, and then B responds. It sounds like they pulled a bait and switch on you. So maybe he's familiar with this. Okay. Let's look at a second example here. According to a Bible story, Jacob agreed to work for 7 years to marry Rachel, who he was greatly attracted to. So he made an agreement, back in those days with the father. He says, well, if you work really hard for 7 years, I'll allow you to marry her. And he agreed to let her marry Rachel. However, the father felt obligated to marry off his older daughter, Leah, first. On the night before the wedding, he got Jacob drunk and covered Leah's face with a veil. In the morning, Jacob discovered he married Leah and not Rachel, not the woman that he didn't mind working so hard for. It was a bait and switch. All right, so what do you do in this situation now? I guess Jacob still really wanted to marry Rachel. This is the older times before in the Bible. At that time, I guess a Jewish guy could have had more than one wife. He could have had a number of wives. So he ended up agreeing he had to work another 7 years to marry Rachel as well. I guess he could have got angry. He could have tried to, get rid of the first wife, but it was the sister of the woman he wants to marry, and he still really wants to marry her. So the father actually got 14 years out of Jacob working hard, and he married off both of his daughters to Jacob. But really, he kind of pulled a bait and switch on him. He wasn't really interested in the older daughter to begin with. He really wanted Rachel. That was the one that he was attracted to. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you understand bait and switch. So it could be used several ways. It is used as a selling tactic, and it could be used in any sort of situation where, again, the information originally presented turned out to be not correct or